Do you know that's a new Zoom thing? That like,
That I have to approve it?
yeah, you have to approve it or I can't keep going.
I think that's great.
It's been scary. I've been on Zooms all this week, and that new thing has come up, and it scared the bejesus out of me every time. So anyway, all right. Welcome everybody to Let's Talk Java. I am your host, Laarni Mulvey, and I have an awesome guest today, Tyler Ornstein. Did I say that right, Tyler?
You did. Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great. So I'm out of the Chicagoland area. I met Tyler at a event in Arizona a few weeks ago, and I'm so excited that he is here as a guest on Let's Talk Java because not only does he have a coffee company, but I actually bought his coffee. So I have it in my big old Hello Kitty cup. So
there you go. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get this going. And
Sure.
First things first, though, we always ask our guests, what's in your cup? And some people don't have coffee, some people have tea, but tell us what is in your cup today.
Obviously, Tyler's Coffees, the world's first and only acid-free coffee, and coffee doesn't give you heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, smooth, but no bitter bite.
Nice. I really love. Okay, so I was talking to you right before we hopped on, and how I was trying to like feature your coffee on here with a nice bag here, but I ripped it to pieces on the top, and now I have this like IKEA clip bag on there to keep it fresh for me.
Well, it's okay. What that means is that you're so excited to try the product that you just couldn't wait.
I was like, oh my God, how do I open this? And then it just went. So I like wasted a few beans, they like fell on the floor, and I was like, no, but I'll tell you.
Slow motion, right? No.
Like, give me my coffee beans. But I'll tell you, the smell that comes out of this bag, even before I opened it, it was amazing. Like I got it out of the box and I could smell it before I took the tape off the box. So
I mean, our goal is to create the best coffee experience that anyone's ever experienced before. So it's very tactical what we wanted to do at Tyler's. We wanted every single sensor in your body to be overloaded with joy. So we wanted the smell. Obviously, we wanted the flavor. But not only that, we wanted to have the tactile. So the bag is even a high gloss bag, so it shows quality. We use a nitrogen packed system so that it has perfect freshness and there's no oxygen induced. I mean, this is really the best coffee out there because we take total pride in everything that we do at Tyler's.
So Tyler, tell us a little about yourself and how you kind of came to starting this coffee line, especially a specific acid-free coffee.
Sure, absolutely. So started at 14 years old, door to door on a bicycle, and essentially had a backpack and some silver sample packs. And I digress. Let me backtrack. So my father and I kind of bonded over coffee, and he couldn't drink coffee anymore because he had stomach-related issues. And so he went to the doctor, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't drink coffee." And the doc's like, "Well, you have septic ulcers." And he said, "Well, no, it's not an option. You don't just take away my coffee." And that actually, obviously, America's staple, right? Like people drink their coffee before they even brush their teeth, obviously, or shower. First thing they do, wake up, coffee. I mean, that's 95% of coffee drinkers in America. They have to have their first cup of coffee. And so my father was in the same boat as we soon to find out, 50 million Americans in 2016. But what was really interesting is that he figured out when the tannic and lipid acids bloom, and then also the chlorogenic acid. And by not blooming those acids in the roasting process, he was able to yield a neutral pH. So your body is extremely, extremely sophisticated, but it's also extremely dumb at the same time. Your body works off of a pH scale. And I'm sure you've heard pH diet. You know, Tom Brady's talking a lot about pH health. There's a lot of really nice value behind a pH diet. And so by creating a pH neutral body, you have an 80% less chance of harboring cancer cells. And also free radicals, and also you feel a lot healthier and you feel a lot more in tune with your body. So this is why veganism is getting huge. This is why vegetarianism is getting huge, because we want to alkaline our diet. Meats in general are acidic. But I digress again. So when you have a neutral pH coffee, your body's going to recognize that as not an inflammatory. So for people that have Crohn's, GERD, interstitial cystitis, leaky gut, overactive bladder, peptic ulcers, kidney failure, renal failure, the list goes on and on and on and on.
Right.
And what that does is that allows people to drink their coffee without having any reverse side effects.
That is awesome. Like, I honestly didn't realize that you can do that with coffee beans, like to roast it without like that element of acidity. I didn't know that you could do that. That's new to me. And it's so intriguing. Like, when I get a bag of coffee, especially one that I don't know, I read the whole bag. I like go around the bag and
you should.
And it's because, you don't just get a bag and just like,
you should read anything you put in your body. Period.
Are you a label reader? I'm a total label reader.
Oh, a huge label reader. And excuse me, this is just water. It's about 100 degrees right now in Arizona. It's May. I did have my coffee in the morning, and I should have another cup, but it's just too hot. Well, we do make it a very, very good cold brew. Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's okay. No, because I love reading the bag, and when I saw that it said doctor recommended, that was very interesting for me, because I don't see that kind of disclaimer or statement on coffee very much.
No. Dr. DiPetrolio is very, very, very smart man. He's actually the board urologist in North America. He did a study, white paper on us, and found that Tyler's coffee is the lowest issue for side effects, per se. That's what I say. For people that suffer from Crohn's.
Really? It's funny, like with Crohn's, I don't know many people with Crohn's, but I have known, like in my career as an athletic trainer, I have known athletes that have had Crohn's, and
it's horrible.
It's to find a balanced meal for them that doesn't tear up their insides was very hard. And it took a lot of talking with, being at the university, I was able to talk with like the lunchroom, and there was like the special meals specifically for the athlete and everything. And it takes a lot of planning. And that's awesome that you have a coffee that people can enjoy if they have Crohn's. If they have ulcers, if they have all that, they can enjoy it. And it stays, you get the flavor and you get the coffee at the same time. So it's really awesome. The one thing I love about this is minimize the damage to tooth enamel. I am an immigrant. I came from the Philippines, and I used to drink coffee when I was like 3. It was like one of those things, part of our breakfast in the Philippines. You just get a cup of coffee. Moving to the States, I was at the dentist every weekend, getting fillings, getting cleanings, because in the Philippines, we didn't have very good dental care anyway.
Dentistry,
But coming to America, it's like, oh my God, you need to get your teeth cleaned. And the one thing that we talk about in the dentist office, I was 5 when I moved here. Coffee.
Yeah. So what coffee is it's inherently acidic, and the porousness of your enamel people say it's coffee stains or whatever. What it is it's acidity etching into the enamel and then causing discoloration in the tooth. And with Tyler's Actually Coffee, obviously we don't have those acids to etch into the tooth enamel, so we're able to give, again, much better experience for people that want to have white teeth and a clean diet. I live what I preach, and I'm pescatarian, so that means I only eat fish, egg, and cheese. And I feel great. I used to be a meat eater, and boy, what a difference when you switch over. It's amazing. You don't know. You're like, oh, no. I love meat. It's fantastic. It's great. And it is. But then once you switch over, you're like, oh my God, what does that do to my body?
Now, there's the new plant-based diets everywhere now. It's a thing. Would you recommend this for someone who is plant-based?
Absolutely. I'd recommend it to anyone. I mean, our coffee is getting a mind of its own, where we have over 5,000 reviews on Amazon. I mean, go look at our website, tylerscoffees.com. We've got reviews galore. I mean, so many reviews. It's just atrocious. But it's beautiful stuff. I mean, and obviously we can't make it up because it's obviously third party. The point is that so we're talking about coffee, and then if you want, I can segue into business. It's up to you.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. All right. So what you see behind me is something I eat, breathe, and sleep. It's simple math, right? $2,739 a day, $19,230 a week, $83,333 a month equals $1 million a year. Do the math, that works out, right? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to become a millionaire. Everyone in business is trying to become a millionaire because the million is kind of that benchmark to slingshot you into 10 million, 100 million into your $1 billion business, right?
Right.
So what you do is you never, ever, I am going to repeat this until the cows come home. You never, ever sell your product. Isn't that amazing? You've never heard that before, have you?
That's a new one. Yeah, no, it's always like
ever sell your product.
Yeah, my Facebook feed, it's like sponsored by this, and they're like, buy, hey, get this, buy this, and I'm just like, next.
If you want to be successful, you never sell your product.
So what is your recommendation?
That flies in the face of every business book you've ever read or any guru that's ever sold. Okay, here's the secret. Ready? The secret is you let your customers sell for you.
Okay.
I don't sell coffee anymore. I have someone that buys my coffee just like yourself, tries it, says that's the best damn coffee in the world, goes online, says, wow, I just tried Tyler's coffee when I was just interviewed by Tyler Ornstein. What an amazing guy. You should try this coffee.
Boom.
That's how you sell coffee.
So what would your advice be for people who don't have like a physical product?
That's a little bit different. Okay, so obviously in business, there's products and services. And pretty much that's 99.9% of businesses. I mean, there's outliers, but mostly that's just product and a hard product and a service. Service-based business, you have to sell yourself. That's your product, right? That's what you are. You are, the guru of sales or whatever. There is a little bit of a caveat where if you get enough customers, you get enough testimonials, those testimonials sell your service. Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that, but it's not the norm. If you're a person and you're trying to sell yourself, the best way to do it is to just give everyone the opportunity to have something of value from you. And again, I'm kind of that crazy guy that sits and looks at the industry and says, well, I can do it better, watch me. And disruptive technology is my favorite word in the world. Same thing with service-based businesses. If everyone's a life coach and you say I'm a life coach, then you're nothing. You're what an SEO expert was in 2003. You know, even the guy that was sitting in his parents' bedroom, basement, you know, at 40 years old. Yeah. But if you say, here's my pitch. I'm never going to charge you for my time.
Interesting.
I'll never charge you for my time. But if you have a really cool product or an idea, I'll sit down with you and I'll help you, but I want equity.
Interesting. Yes. Okay. So how does that conversation go with people, you know, when you say, I'll give you my time, but then this is the exchange?
Well, again, it really has to make sense to me. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. So my father is one of the most amazing scientists in the world, doesn't know how to sell out of brown paper bags. I don't know anything that he does in the lab. I can sell ice to Eskimos. So right now I'm helping him launch his products that have been in R&D for the later of 10 years, just to make sure that our products say what we say they are. And he had to learn the chemistry, and he's a very, very smart man, and he's always reinventing. The point is that if I'm going to mentor someone, it's because I believe that they have something on the cutting edge of an industry that, you know, essentially is going to bloom, or it's at the peak of acceleration. You know, again, I just, it's funny because people say, when we were at the event together, I never brought up my article at Forbes, but I will say this: when I was seen in Forbes with Elon Musk, it was a super huge honor because I respect that man more than anything. He has failed so many times. He lived on his friend's floor building PayPal. The biggest e-commerce, I hate PayPal. The biggest e-commerce converter, really, in the world. Does over $1 billion a month or something like that. It's crazy what kind of money PayPal does. But he was on his friend's bedroom floor on a freaking mattress, a blow-up mattress.
And now,
the guy built a $20 million rocket that failed on the launch pad.
and he's like, okay, next.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, well, that didn't work. Let's figure out something that will.
So let's talk Java. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. You first.
He literally came out in 2004 saying, I'm going to compete against any supercar in the world with my Roadster that I'm building in my garage practically. And it's electric. And they were like, you are freaking a Looney Tune. And now everyone says Tesla every other word.
I know. And everybody wants one.
Smart man.
So let's talk Java. The purpose of the show is to highlight not just the amazing coffee that we get to taste and review or just like talk about, but we love to support our small businesses and local businesses, because right now sometimes we don't know how to market ourselves, or we don't know how to talk about ourselves when we speak to someone who's already on their road to success or are very successful. So what advice would you give these small businesses, these local businesses, if they're trying to connect with you somehow, to get 15 minutes of your time? What would you suggest?
15 minutes of my time. Okay, sure. Well, the way you connect with me is you send me an email, and I'm sure you can put it in the description. It's Tyler, Tyler, at Tylers as in Sierra, coffee, COFFEES as in Sierra.com.
So before, how would you, like, what other advice would you give? Like, how would you give them a little bit of confidence to talk about themselves? Uh-oh. Oh, I thought you were frozen.
Well, no, sorry, I was thinking. That's an interesting question.
Because I know when you and I met,
yeah,
and we were talking, honestly, I was pretty nervous to talk to you. And I was. Well, first of all, I was just like,
Why?
Okay. And this is exactly why this show is great and awesome about this, is because, me, I'm a small business. The business is me. I'm the business. And
I went to door to door on a bicycle. How small can you get?
It was just so, like, it's hard sometimes. I shouldn't say hard, but I feel for me as a new entrepreneur to find the words to say. Am I like, what am I saying? Am I selling myself? It was like, I went through this almost like explosion in my brain when you came and talked to me. And I was just like, and you're just like, I don't understand what you're saying. And I was like, I don't understand what I'm saying either. And so that's why.
Yes, I trust me. I've been told multiple times I come across pretty blunt.
And for me, I'm a pretty blunt person as well. I think it was just for me, when talking to you, I was just like, but I'm not really selling you anything. I just want to talk to you. And then I shifted that mindset in my brain, and I started explaining to you like the things that I talk about when it comes to women's empowerment, women's encouragement. And you're like, I get it. I get it. So
no, I think women are the future of business. And quite frankly, I think they're extremely, extremely powerful people. There's a paradigm shift. And here's the problem that I have to say, and I won't really talk about this, but I will say this. I am definitely 99.9% for sure for women rights, empowerment, equal rights, equal pay, everything like that. But I don't want to be left out. And that's the problem that I see in this culture and in this movement, is what you're doing is you're putting women first in business, and you're saying women deserve equal power, women deserve equal pay, women deserve equal everything. 100% on board with that. There's no question. Frankly, I hired the person for the job, not because of their sex. So what I'm interested in is what's the argument, what's the conversation of, okay, women are empowered, but now what are the men doing?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to have is equal rights. I don't want to have a woman less in power than a man, and I don't want a man less in power than a woman. I want everyone that's in the business world to be in homogenous ability to succeed. I mean, if I meet a woman and she's like, I own a business, that's fantastic. Congratulations. I understand the struggle. If I meet a man and he says, I'm in business, I say, fantastic. Congratulations. I understand the struggle. But I don't want this culture to say, oh, well, that man is obviously privileged, and so he deserves that business. And, the woman had to struggle. Yeah. A struggle is a struggle. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I totally agree. A struggle is a struggle. And I do, I love that you see the balance when it comes to this, because besides the fact that I am a women's empowerment speaker, I do include the men in my talks. I include them because the way that we have taught, the culture that we are taught is so different. And I think there's a lot of different perceptions. And for me, my vision is to let's educate each other. Let's communicate better. Let's make sure that we are knowing, what do you want as a man and what do I want as a woman? And maybe we can compromise. And I feel that there is always some kind of compromise, but there's always the outliers. on either side. There's always the outlet, you know? So like I'm right in the middle where I feel like I want to be able to see everybody, but the listening part gets a little muddled. Some people will only hear what they want to hear, and then they act on the things that they want to act on, or they think everybody else wants them to act on. So that's like a big and this is a total separate conversation for me, but
I just want to spend a little bit of time in that. I want women to be empowered, and I want women to have success as much as the men deserve empowerment and success. And quite frankly, here's another thing that will kind of fly in the face of the culture. Frankly, I don't care if you're a male or you're a female. I only care if the job gets done correctly.
That's really, I mean,
isn't
that just really the result? Like it's result. Like what can you produce? What is the result? Right. Totally agree. So what kind of encouraging message, empowering message do you want to leave with the audience from Let's Talk Java today?
Well, okay, so before COVID, I actually had the opportunity to get a couple stages, and I don't stand in front of the PowerPoint. I just don't. Like that's something that I refuse to do. If someone wants me on their stage, they can put 2 chairs, give me a microphone, and fire away. Any questions, valid question. And the reason why is because I don't really like to stand up there and show my ego. It doesn't, ooh, Tyler did this, Tyler did that, you know, cool. That's fine, but I'm not someone that just needs that. I would rather have an MC just field me questions and say, how'd you get started? Or what's the hardest thing you're working on? Or da, 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 da. Doesn't matter. Point is, I would do that. And then I'd come off stage and people want to talk to me. And the first thing I would say to anyone that wants to talk to me is I say, okay, yeah, no, what do you do? What's your job? What's your position? What do you do? They would tell me. I'd say, great, does it help? And usually it looks like a deer in a headlight because they're like, what the F are you talking about? Does it help? What I've learned is that if you can actually solidify something in the aspect of the word help, you'll be successful. You'll be a millionaire. Because 99% of the time, someone's going to give you money because they have a problem that requires a solution. So, and also it's good for, your soul. But if you want to succeed in life, you have to figure out a place where you can help. And the more people you can help, the more money you'll make.
I love that. And I think that's really one of the biggest, so the little bit history of this show, this Let's Talk Java show, I have a friend of mine, we actually were talking back and forth about exchanging coffees. We were in COVID, we all wanted coffee, and I have a friend in Massachusetts who has a coffee place, and my friend up in Wisconsin, and somebody goes, you guys should start a coffee show. Like, okay, sure. And it started off just talking about coffees, and getting coffees from all over the place was getting difficult and pretty costly because it was like getting shipped from everywhere. And we shifted the show, the shift in the show started during Women's History Month. And I was like, you know what, I should start highlighting some of the local women's coffee purveyors and everything. And now it's come to this show where we can talk with people locally, virtually, of course, but it's able to give these small businesses a platform to talk about themselves and to talk with or listen to advice from someone like you and your company. it just brings everything together. And I really feel like that helping the community, that's that part of me, part of the show that helps bring value to people who may feel like they're forgotten because they're smaller, and like there's the bigger coffee companies that everybody goes to, but really these small shops are amazing, and they have great food, they have great products. So I feel like this is a show that really does help, value these smaller businesses. So I'm glad that you said that, like helping other people will be very beneficial in the end. And I love this show. I love doing this show because it's just A, it's really fun, but B,
Right.
I get to talk to so many different people and so many different businesses and everything. So as I wrap up the show, we have a section called the Toot Toot section, which allows small businesses to, like, what's coming up in your schedule, what is going on, like people like launching their businesses or podcasts and stuff like that. So I'm offering the question to you as well, like what is going to be next or coming up for Tyler's Coffee?
Well, I am launching my book this year.
Nice.
It was about a year and a half in editing. And everyone told me you got to write a book. So I wrote a book. I'm not really a book guy. This is my first book, maybe my last book. Who knows? I mean, it has to have value, but it is about my story. It is about how I fell on my ass all the time. So yeah, that's coming out. And then everyone, again, I listen to my customers more than anything in the world because they dictate how you run a business. Really, don't ever not listen to your customers' feedback. That's another caveat that you should definitely remember and think about. But I am coming out with a podcast called Tyler's Coffee Talk.
Nice.
And what we're going to do is essentially we're going to have business owners on, and instead of explaining about how many cars they have or how many houses they have, or how much money they have in the bank, or how their success has changed the world, well, believe it or not, we're going to talk about their failures.
Nice.
Because I haven't seen a single, watch, I'll start a whole different industry of self-help and failure. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with people. Hey, the biggest compliment you can have is someone that copies you. I'll tell you right now. That's the biggest compliment you can have. So I haven't seen a podcast, and I can't say I've seen every business podcast or self-help podcast. That's impossible. But the big ones, I haven't seen any of them talk about failures.
Really?
Talk about, like, here's some good advice. Here's some more good advice. Here's how I became successful. Here's how I made money. Like, I love watching the YouTube videos of the guy getting out of his Lamborghini, walking into his mansion and flashing some cash. And I go, well, the Lamborghini was rented for a day for $2,000, and that whole entire mansion was about $6,000. And you probably spent another $6,000 in the videography and the setup. So you're about 12,000 deep. You don't have that. Stop faking. So what I want to do is I want to have real entrepreneurs on about their failures. So, like, how did you fail? Tell me the story of failure. When did you fail? Did you fail late in your business career, early in your business career? How much money did you lose in that failure? And I think I'm going to get an audience because people want to see failures more than they want to see successes. Because if they're in the entrepreneurial space,
it's inevitable.
They're failing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Failure is not a bad thing. The only thing about failure that's bad is repeat. Don't ever repeat your failures. Ever repeat your failures. If you repeat your failures, you are a failure. And I'm sorry, but you need to go and flip burgers because entrepreneurialism is not your game.
What is that saying? They said if you repeat the same things expecting a different result, but you're getting the same thing, it's like the definition of insanity. That's yeah. That's like don't.
Yeah, but if you fail and go, holy shit, we failed hard, but what was the cause of failure? How can we prevent the failure? What specifically can we do next time so that the failure doesn't happen again? Okay.
Yeah, those are great lessons. Those are definitely something that people have to think about all the time. And it just, I don't know, for me, it just prepares me. I mean, I can't prepare for every failure, but at least if there's like a general failure, I'm ready for it. So when is your book coming out? When did you say it was coming out?
I don't know. This year. This year.
This year. So
trust me, it's not priority one. Priority one is money. Gotta make that money. Because once you have money, you have freedom.
Yes. Totally agree. Totally agree. That's how I'm like in this process of like get that money, but I want to help people at the same time. So it's like my balance, where is it? But is there anything else? Is there anything else coming up with you? I know that in our like pre conversation, you know, it says that you love to travel and ski. That's what
I do. Yep. I chase white powder and it's really expensive.
Oh. So anything else coming up for you? How about like leisurely? Like what do you like to do going out somewhere else? Now that it's 100 degrees in Arizona, do you stay in Arizona a lot?
Yeah. I mean, COVID's really done a lot of issues with travel. A lot of issues with travel. But you know, I mean, it's okay. I've lived here my whole life, and every time I go, God, why the hell am I here? And then August, September comes around, you go, oh, that's fine.
So if you could go anywhere you wanted to during those 100-degree days in Arizona, like, you know, if you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna just leave, where would you go?
I like Hawaii. Hawaii's beautiful.
To where is it? Where'd you say?
Hawaii.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have
Hawaii's beautiful. Actually, I want to go see the Maldives, which is near the Philippines. I've heard the Maldives is beautiful.
I knew somebody who traveled to the Maldives, and it took him like 4 days to get there. But it was all worth it.
The water's crystal blue, and it's gorgeous white sand beaches, and it's kind of worth it.
Oh, well, thank you. We're gonna wrap up right now. Thank you, Tyler, for being on the show with me today. I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate the conversation that we've had when it comes to business, coffee, but also, you know, speaking to women's equality and women's like space in the world. And I'm so glad that we were able to have that conversation because I think it's very important. But also, I believe in big in open communication with this, because if one person's talking and, you know, we're all talking on top of each other, we're never going to really listen to each other. So
I agree.
Thank you for that in our conversation today. So
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It was great. It was great. So you guys, this is Let's Talk Java, and I am your host, Laarni Mulvey. I am here to make sure I'm celebrating all the small businesses and local businesses that we can, to give you guys a platform to really promote yourself and let everyone know that you're out there. I have my book here. Whoops, right there. It's my first book too, Tyler. It came out this year. It's called It's called Standing in Strength, and inspirational stories of power unleashed. It's available on Amazon if you guys want to go check it out. And that is all that we have today. If you guys need to get a hold of me, I am at Laarni Mulvey on Instagram and on Facebook. Everything is Laarni Mulvey. So all the information for Tyler and his coffees will be in the show notes. And you guys support this coffee. It's really good. I enjoyed it. And I'm actually having It's cold now, but but it was a great.
Oh yeah, I don't sell another bag of coffee in my life. I like my coffee.
It was a great afternoon coffee, and I loved it. So I'm gonna toot you on that. But anyway, you guys have a great Sunday. Stay safe, stay joyful, and be kind to one another. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.